I thought I was finally clawing my way back to normal, that the worst was behind me. Then he showed up, my husband's best friend, like he always did, just checking in. Only this time, I didn't want him to leave. The pull of him like a tide I couldn't fight. He came by our small Detroit house, same as always, once or twice a week since the funeral, sometimes with groceries, sometimes to fix a lock or haul trash, always with that look soft, worn, like he wasn't sure if smiling was allowed. Today, it was a box of my husband's things, old junk from the garage, stuff I didn't ask for, stuff I wasn't ready to face. He stood there, gripping it tight, like it'd shatter if he moved too fast. I thanked him, took the box, set it just inside the door. I should have said goodbye, closed the door like always. Instead, I held it open. "You eaten yet?" I asked. He blinked. "Nah, not yet." I nodded toward the kitchen. "I made too much." He hesitated, like he always did, waiting for me to change my mind. I didn't. He stepped inside, and I shut the door behind him, the click of it loud in my chest, like a lock turning on something forbidden. Dinner was simple pasta, salad, the table small under the dim kitchen light. I lit a candle without thinking, then regretted it. Too soft, too careful, too much. I almost said something, but he didn't mention it, so I let it burn, its flicker casting shadows that danced like secrets across the walls. We talked about nothing, weather, his truck, the old neighborhood, safe things to keep the silence at bay. He asked if I'd gone back to work. I said no. At some point, I refilled his wine glass without asking. He noticed. His eyes met mine, held a half-second too long, and something stirred. Not desire. Not yet, but a heat low in my ribs, like being seen after years in the dark. He wasn't flirting. He never did. But the way he listened, the way his gaze lingered when I spoke, it woke something I didn't know I'd missed being noticed, being wanted. We finished eating, and I stood to clear the plates. He came to help, our hands brushing at the table's edge, just for a second, skin on skin, and it stayed with me, sharp, like a spark that could ignite everything. I didn't pull back fast enough. He didn't mention it. The sink ran. Dishes clinked. I poured the last of the wine, and we sat again, closer this time, the space between us shrinking, heavy with something neither of us named. We didn't drink much more, just held the glasses, words sparse. The candle burned low, the kitchen warm, quiet, the air thick with the pull I couldn't shake. I don't know if it was the wine or just him sitting there, still listening. "I still sleep on my side of the bed," I said, staring at the rim of my glass. His sides untouched, even the pillow. He nodded, slow, like he knew better than to speak. "I know he's gone," I added. "I get it. But some mornings, I still expect his keys in the door. Like I got it wrong. Like nothing happened. He didn't try to fix it. He never did." That was his way, letting the silence sit where it belonged. Then he said my name. Clara. Soft. Not pitying. Just sure. Like it still meant something. Like I still meant something. My throat tightened. I blinked hard. Smiled too quick. "Sorry," I said, half laughing. Don't know why I said that. "Because you trust me," he said. "That's all?" I looked at him. Really looked. The lines on his face, the gray at his temples, the way his hands stayed steady as he spoke. He looked older than I remembered, but stronger too. a quiet strength that filled the room without trying. Years ago, I thought he was handsome, not like my husband, Tom, but different, calm, steady, the kind of man who didn't need to shout to own a space. Now he was in my kitchen, drinking my wine, saying my name like it was worth hearing again. That warmth came back, low in my chest, but this time it carried something else, guilt, sharp and bitter, like a blade twisting in my gut. I didn't just want company. I wanted his attention, his gaze to linger longer. And I knew I shouldn't. Not now. Maybe never. I shifted in my chair, trying to shake the thought. But it settled, uninvited, like a shadow I couldn't outrun. He finished his wine, set the glass down soft. "It's late," he said. "I should go." I should have walked him to the door, like always. But I didn't move. Not yet. I stood to wash the glasses. I didn't ask him to stay, and he didn't say he'd go. We both pretended it was just another night, though we knew it wasn't. He followed me to the sink, close enough to help, picking up dishes without asking, washing them without prompting. We moved like we'd done this before, not together, but close enough to feel familiar. Our hands brushed again, over a plate this time. He didn't move, neither did I. I handed him a towel. He dried in silence while I stacked clean dishes, the rhythm of it deceptively calm, like a storm waiting to break. For a few minutes, it felt almost normal, like this wasn't a night tangled with everything I'd lost and everything I shouldn't want. But when I turned to thank him, he was closer than I expected, just a few feet, close enough for the air to crackle, heavy with what we weren't saying. The silence between us thinned, stretched tight. He didn't speak, just held my eyes for a moment too long, his gaze dipping to my mouth, then back, like he was fighting himself, like he knew crossing that line would burn us both. But he didn't step back. "Maybe I should," he started, voice low. "You don't have to," I cut in. "Too fast. I mean, not if you're okay staying." I regretted it the second it left my mouth. Not because I didn't mean it, but because I did. And that truth was a weight I couldn't carry. He blinked. "You sure?" I nodded. Yeah. The moment landed, heavy. He didn't smile. Neither did I. I sat on the couch, not the table this time. I didn't ask him to follow, but he did, slow, careful, like he was waiting for me to push him away. I didn't. We sat close, our knees almost touching. Not quite. Not yet. A soft song played from the small speaker on the counter. Slow. The kind of sound you don't notice until it's the only thing left in the room. He didn't move. I did. Just an inch. Enough for our knees to brush. Enough for the heat of his arm against mine to spark something dangerous. He turned. Looked at me the way he always did. Patient, steady, taking his time. I leaned closer. He didn't stop me. When his hand found mine. Slow. Careful. Waiting for me to pull back. I didn't. I should have let go. Thanked him for dinner. Walked him out. Ended the night like I always did. But I didn't, because somewhere in the silence and candlelight, something shifted, and it was too late to pretend I didn't feel it. I wasn't reaching for him out of desire, not even comfort. I just couldn't stand another night untouched, and I hated myself for it. The guilt coiling tight, like a noose I'd tied myself. When he leaned in, I let him, not because it was right, but because stopping felt lonelier. His kiss was soft, careful, like he thought I might break, and part of me already had. fractured under the weight of wanting what I shouldn't. We didn't talk. Words would have made it too real, too lasting, too hard to deny come morning. When we moved to the bedroom, it wasn't romantic, wasn't even kind. It was mechanical. Two people chasing different meanings, a raw need that burned without warmth. I turned away to undress, not from shame, but because I didn't want to see his face, didn't want to know if he felt relief or conflict, because I already knew my own betrayal, heavy as the ghost of someone not here to see it. I slipped under the covers, no ceremony, like every night for months. But this time, someone followed. He came to me slow, keeping just enough distance for me to close the gap or stay put. I closed it. When his hand found mine again, it felt unreal, not magical, but wrong, like something borrowed I hadn't earned. But I held on, not because I wanted him, but because I couldn't face the emptiness of my own making. We didn't talk. We didn't need to. Every inch between us was thick with the shadow of things unsaid. His hand touched my arm, my shoulder once, light. I did the same, not from need, but weakness, a surrender to something I couldn't outrun. I wanted to scream at myself, "Stop, turn back, don't do this, this isn't healing." But I didn't, because the wound was still open, and I was running from the pain, the silence, the truth that I missed being needed, even by someone who was never mine. The worst part was I felt it all, the warmth, the quiet, the safety, and I hated how much I'd missed it, because Tom gave me that once, and I was taking it from someone else, like it cost nothing. When it was over, whatever it was, we lay there, side by side, breathing. His presence was steady beside me, quiet, not demanding, and that made it worse, because he hadn't done anything wrong. He was still patient, still respectful, still the man who showed up every week asking for nothing. And I was the one who let him in, the one who couldn't take the silence anymore. I should have cried, should have said something, but all I could do was lie there. One thought louder than the rest. I'd crossed a line that only existed in my heart, and there was no taking it back. Tell me, if you were her, still grieving, still searching for a way forward, would you stop it or let it happen? Be honest. Drop it in the comments. I read them all. If this story hit you, like it, subscribe, turn on notifications. Don't miss what's next. Thanks for being here.